We made USAA insurance for veterans like James. When he found out how much USAA was helping members save, he said,
"It's time to switch."
We'll help you find the right coverage at the right price. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Restrictions apply.
On today's Smart 7, the Supreme Court says no on Rwanda, Keir Starmer faces a rebellion on Gaza, and lots more. It's Thursday, 16th of November. It's National Button Day, and happy birthday, Vicky Pattison.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Wednesday saw the Supreme Court issue its long-awaited decision on the government's Rwanda scheme. The intention was to ship newly arrived illegal migrants to Rwanda to be processed and ban them from returning to the UK, and it's already cost at least £140 million. The 5 members of the Supreme Court agreed unanimously with the lower courts that Rwanda could not be considered a safe country, and the banning of migrants would put them at risk of harm. Lord Reid announced the verdict.
The changes needed to eliminate the risk of refoulement may be delivered in the future, but they have not been shown to be in place now. The Home Secretary's appeal is therefore dismissed.
The decision puts Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in a difficult position, as the Rwanda scheme was central to his plan to stop the small boats. He's pledging to stop the ongoing round of court cases and introduce both a new treaty with Rwanda and potentially new emergency legislation which will effectively declare Rwanda safe and in theory allow flights to start in the spring. But that may be challenged in the European Court of Human Rights, and he wasn't clear on what the plan would be in that case.
If it becomes clear that our domestic legal frameworks or international conventions are still frustrating plans at that point, I am prepared to change our laws and revisit those international relationships.
Despite what's been a hell of a week for Rishi, it was still only Wednesday, which meant he had to face Prime Minister's question time. If he was hoping that his decision to reboot David Cameron would be greeted with delight, he was in for a disappointment. There were questions about Cameron's lobbying for the failed Greensill capital, about Cameron's track record in government, and about Rishi's new Minister for Wokeness, along with Israel, Gaza, and of course the Rwanda Supreme Court loss. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer wasn't letting him off the hook either.
He's had 3 reshuffles, a forgotten conference speech, an empty King speech. He even found time to fanboy Elon Musk. But not one of them has made the slightest difference to the lives of working people.
There was good news, however, on at least one of the Prime Minister's pledges, as inflation dropped again from 6.7% in September to 4.6% in October. That's the lowest figure in 2 years and is driven by a fall in energy prices. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt says the good news on inflation means that he can start to focus on driving growth in the economy.
There's lots more work to do. We still have to bring inflation down to its target level of 2%, but now we are beginning to win the battle against inflation.
The United Nations Security Council voted on Wednesday evening to call for humanitarian pauses in Israel's war on Hamas. The resolution was voted for by 12 nations, with the US and the UK abstaining. In the House of Commons, a similar resolution caused havoc, however. Some Labour Party members have been calling for a full ceasefire, but party leader Sir Keir Starmer instead proposed a motion to call for humanitarian pauses. His motion was defeated, as was an SNP motion which called for a full ceasefire. The drama arose when over 50 Labour MPs voted for the motion to call for a ceasefire, including at least 8 members of Labour's front bench. Several high-profile shadow cabinet ministers, including Jess Phillips, then quit their positions in protest. Former Shadow Minister for Crime Reduction Naz Shah says she was responding to her constituents who are calling for a ceasefire.
I am a mother of 3. I could not vote any other way but to try whatever I can and raise my voice, even if it is to save one child from dying.
Wednesday saw Chinese President Xi Jinping met with US President Joe Biden in California. The two men shook hands and smiled as the Chinese leader arrived for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum in San Francisco. The tone was friendly, with Jinping saying that planet Earth is big enough for both countries to succeed. There were mixed reports from the meeting afterwards, with no progress on Taiwan, but Biden says it's important for the two nations to have dialogue.
We have to ensure that competition does not veer into conflict. And we also have to manage it responsibly. That's what the United States wants and what we intend to do. I also believe it's what the world wants for both of us.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Viola Davis is obsessed with hot tubs and there's a new spider in the bath.
right after this.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Randy?
Since we founded Bombas, we've always said our socks, underwear, and T-shirts are super soft. Any new ideas?
Maybe sublimely soft.
Or disgustingly cozy.
Wait, what?
I got it. Bombas. Absurdly comfortable essentials for yourself and everyone on your list.
And for those facing homelessness.
Because one purchased equals one donated.
Wow, did we just write an ad?
Yes.
Bombas. Big comfort for everyone. Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase.
Welcome back. This weekend sees things get even wilder than usual in Las Vegas as the Formula One Grand Prix comes to town. This is the first official Las Vegas Grand Prix, and it'll be a 50-lap race along the world-famous Strip. It's set to be pretty spectacular as it's a night race, and the full drama of Vegas will be on show. Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton is still hoping to see his team grab second place in the Constructors' Championship, but he says it's important that the race respects the people of Vegas.
I think we have to be respectful of the locals here. So many people here working so hard. We've got to make sure that there's a lot of money and wealth in this city, and so we've got to make sure that people are taken care of.
Now that the actors' strike is basically over, all the big names have been flooding back to the late-night talk show couches, and they've got some strange tales to tell. Viola Davis is just back from Berlin, where she was filming the new Hunger Games movie, but it sounds like she really got into the Berlin lifestyle. She says she spent plenty of time hanging out in public hot tubs, but she's not calling them hot tubs nowadays.
Let me tell you something. I love a jacuzzi. And when I got in that jacuzzi in my $10 bathing suit, I was invited to the opera by random strangers in the jacuzzi.
Wait.
I was
Stop.
invited to dinner from random strangers in the jacuzzi.
Rewind.
I got a whole skincare line from someone who sat in the jacuzzi. They recognized me and said, "Oh, you know what? I have a whole skincare line that I want to give you."
Much like our garden shed in the winter, it can seem like there are a lot of spiders in Hollywood. We've had 3 different Peter Parkers, and with animated movies like Beyond the Spider-Verse, we've seen a whole universe full of spider people. Not something your arachnophobic friend wants to hear. Now, there's a new entrant to the Marvel Spider Universe. Her name is Madam Web, and she's played by Dakota Johnson. It's described as an origin story, and the cast also features Euphoria's Sydney Sweeney. It's due to drop, probably from your ceiling in February 2024.
A week ago, I spent my life racing against time.
I'm gonna help you out today, okay?
Trying to save people who were running out of it.
Jesse!
Until one moment changed everything.
I don't understand what's happening.
I've been having visions.
I knew he was gonna die.
I think I'm seeing the future.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.